Two guys sitting in an office in Greenbelt, Maryland. We put up a map. I put in a little thing, and we're going to take over the whole country in this field. Everyone thought we were crazy, right? So fast forward 20 years later, 115 centers. Now we are the medical leader, Center for Vein Restoration. I wouldn't say just in the United States, I'd say in the world.
This week, Rob Howell joins the conversation to share what it's really like being one of the two guys in a small office with just a map and one massive goal: growing a specialized medical practice from 0 to 115 centers. He dives into the road less traveled and his superpower as a translator who can take a founder's big dream and actually make it happen. This episode is all about the belief and effort it takes to bet on yourself and see what is truly possible when you bridge the gap between dreaming and doing.
This is Leadership Sound Bites. Real leaders, real moments, real growth.
So it's like, what did you do? I was talking to Rob. So welcome to this week's episode of Leadership Sound Bites. My very special guest, Rob Howell. And it says right out there on your name tag, co-dreamer, co-doer.
Yeah.
And when you and I chatted in the little intro call thing that we do, I love the fact that it wasn't about you. It was about, it's that partnership that you can do to be able to get people, situations, organizations to the next level. And so I love that part. I love that part. So welcome to the conversation. And,
Michelle, Mash, what a pleasure.
Thank you. So you have a quote to kick us off with?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And it's so funny. I always misremember where this quote comes from, but I always get the author right. So it's
Okay.
from Robert Frost. So I just love his poems. And I always think it's Stopping by the Wood on a snowy evening, but it's not. It's from his other one. It's like the road less traveled, right? That's everybody hears it. But the exact quote is, I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. And that's my quote. And it's so funny because I just watched 2 episodes ago. You had that wonderful lady from I always forget her name from Canada.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys were talking about
Megan Kane. Kane.
So
Yeah,
Megan,
the innovation.
and you're talking about how she's not very scripted on here's what I'm going to do and this is my plan for life. And some people are very regimented. So if you take the most regimented person and take the exact way opposite of that, that's me. So
what has that done for you? I mean, if you think about it, because when I think about stuff like that, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, it got me in this room, in this conversation, and this opportunity that I never could have imagined for myself.
My life has been so enriched because I will walk into a restaurant in Fort Worth, Texas, and I'll sit next to a gentleman and we'll start talking, and it finds out that he worked for the Dallas Fort Worth Telegraph during the civil rights movement, and I can look him up on Wikipedia, and he's there, right? And he's, when people are on death row and they think it's a civil rights case, they call him.
Wow.
To fight. So these are the people that I'm just blessed because I'll just talk to anybody. I'll just go anywhere. And it's just, life is a blessing, and I just love people. And it just has enriched my life so much. And it's just been incredible because I just don't walk around like this. I'm walking around like, what's out there, God or whoever your creator is created this world. And I just want to see and do everything. Now, you have to be careful when you do that because sometimes you don't only get into good situations, but you get into situations like, I probably shouldn't be here, but thank goodness I have a couple of guardian angels.
Share with people what you do and what has come about as a result of that had you label co-dreamer, co-doer, and maybe some of more recent things with that, or things that you're most no, noted for, or that you find most notable? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, the perfect one is I just spent 20 years working with the Center for Vein Restoration. So, Dr. Sanjeev Lakampa, who is a dreamer like me, a fabulous physician. We met each other when he was the director of heart surgery at Prince George's Hospital Center, and I was the director of business development there. We kind of created a relationship because I used him for media relations. Very charismatic, perfect person you want on screen talking about stuff. And so we were working together at Prince George's Hospital Center, and we started doing this side business where we're trying to build his arterial business for the hospital. And we just happened to stumble across treating venous insufficiency, and which is varicose veins. So if you think about the big ropey veins in your
Yeah.
legs, we came up, we found out, hey, maybe we should treat these, because back in the day, treating those big ropey veins were thought of as cosmetic. And the only company that was really treating that nationally was Vein Clinics of America, which people have heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but nobody was really going after the medical side of treating venous insufficiencies. And this is back in like 2005. So we're talking 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So this is a lot more of a recognized treatment now. And there's a bunch of national vein companies that are out there. But we're like, you know what? We're going to be the Mayo Clinic or the Cleveland Clinic of venous treatment. We're two guys sitting in an office in Greenbelt, Maryland. We put up a map. I put in a little thing, and we're going to take over the whole country in this field. Everyone thought we were crazy, right? So back in the day, they had all the academics, all the people that were doing vein cares in university hospitals and health systems and things like that. And they're just like looking at our company like, these guys are crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward 20 years later, 115 centers across the country. We do more studies than any university as far as venous disease goes.
Wow.
We are the medical leader, Center for Vein Restoration. I wouldn't say just in the United States, I'd say in the world. So, it's that dreaming mentality that got us there. And Dr. Lekapa's wife would always say, like, all right, you two guys are up here with balloons. We need some people to bring you, because we're just boom, 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 boom. But, the key is the next step, right? It's the doer.
Mm-hmm.
So, this was his vision to do this, and we kind of did it together. And then it's, let's operationalize it. And I think that's what kind of is my skill set, is I can take these physicians or founders who are dreaming, but really, how do you make it happen, right?
Okay.
How does that translate into, how does taking that wrong road or less travel road, translate into real life and then the real business world, right? So that's the whole incubator world, right? Or accelerator, which now I know the difference between an accelerator and incubator.
Thank you, Megan Kane, for that.
I know. I didn't know that either. And I was just at the JP Morgan event like in two months ago. And I'm like, aren't they the same thing? I thought they were the same thing.
No, apparently not. Yeah. It's like, here's the thing to where you think of the idea, and now how do we fast track that thing to get it to market? So for you, the part of it is, which is interesting, because a lot of times visionaries, right, Rob, and this is probably your experience, there's a lot of CEOs in this role that have these ideas and these visions, and they're high explore. If you look at Five Dynamics or other things, don't connect those dots of what are those steps to actually get this implemented or to frontline. And a lot of times in their mind, they go on to the next vision.
Exactly.
Because they think, okay, boom, that's it. Idea, boom, next idea. And other people are left going,
No. And then, even more importantly, what's more frustrating is when they come back to the people, the visionary will say, well, how come this isn't done yet?
Bingo.
And the whole team gets frustrated and like, dude, you just told us, you gave us, this needs to be done.
Yes.
And so,
and in their mind, a lot of times it is done. I had a coach of mine that came back to me because I got so frustrated because I had reported to someone who was the idea person, right? And so in his mind, he had me, I was I just stepped into the role. I was still in the same organization, and I had to present a very comprehensive roadmap to get the
Yeah.
organization to alignment on process improvement because they had all different versions of it throughout the org. And so, and he had done a roadmap, and this roadmap was a picture, very rudimentary picture of a road with things on it, right? A literal thing. And so here I am, I step into this role. I've got to present this thing in 2 weeks, and I'm frustrated. And my coach had walked by as I'm talking to the person I report to, and he's like, "So you have everything you need, right?" And I'm like, "Not even close." But to your point, she told me, she said, "Michele, people that are true visionaries, high explorer, they think it's done.
Right.
The
Oh,
sharing
sure. The
of this
second they
thing."
say it, it's done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
So it's not like they're trying to set you up to fail.
Nope.
They literally don't think
Yep.
about anything else to execution.
Yep. Yeah, so that's kind of been my superpower, I
Yeah.
guess, is, because again, we'll get to our origin stories maybe a little bit, but is that I can act as a translator of that vision to the operators. And that's where the co-doer part comes in. And that's what I love to do. Because again, I understand that, and because I do have a visionary mind, but I also have that the ability to operationalize things, and
Hmm.
that's a unique skill set, because usually people are one or the other. So I'm finding it's it is a good superpower to be able to do both, and that's what I love doing. I mean, I think that's
Yeah.
the thing. I was just talking to somebody today, and I said, look, it doesn't even need to be my idea. I just need to think it's a cool idea, and it's
Yeah.
and it's different. And then I'm like, let's do it. Come on, let's get going. Because the other thing with visionaries, it's like the pace is like
Oh, yeah.
bam, 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 bam,
Oh,
bam.
yeah.
And Michele, I think you know me, or somebody said, they're like, Bob, you don't slow. Like, do you ever get tired? Like, you? Oh, that's what I was. I was doing karaoke, and they're like, do you ever do a slow song?
No, it's not in the repertoire. So
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
curious. So the example that you gave, the one with the doctor with the vein clinic, awesome. Is there bandwidth to do other stuff? Because I'm hearing and thinking that you did this thing, and yet there's bandwidth for other things that you play a similar role.
Yeah. So, well, yeah, that's a great question. So I've left that company in October. So my dad
This
retired at the end
past
of it.
October?
Yep, this past October. Yep.
Wow.
So now, so leading to the road less traveled. So
Yes.
I left Prince George's Hospital Center when it was having a difficult turnaround team, and they were bringing in people that were not the best caliber. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm
Hmm.
just leaving. So, belief in effort, believe in yourself. I started my own company, H2M Strategies, which I've dusted back off again. And that's really what led to the whole Center for Vein Restoration, and working with Dr. Lakapa. He was one of my first clients.
Okay.
So again, my role in the hospital is just working with doctors. I respect them. I just, always am impressed with the sacrifices that they've
Hmm.
made to really be, mission driven people. And that they also are, I don't know how they do it. Not only are they great doctors, but the doctors are just amazing family people. Like,
Mm.
like their kids are amazing. They manage to juggle everything. And I'm like, I can't even balance a checkbook. And here's somebody who's, you know, doing all of these things, right, at such an elite level. So I really wanted to just work with doctors and help them
Yeah.
build their practices, and again, partner with them to deal with their pain points. So that's what so H2M Strategies led to Dr. Lakapo was one of my clients. Then he wanted to be my only client. So
Yeah.
road less traveled. I'm like, you know what? I'm betting on me. I'm leaving a great job, no
Yeah.
plan. Got a got a son, you got a family, and I'm just like, I'm out of here. Road less traveled. Everyone thought I was crazy. The chairman of boards called me up, Bob, you just like walked out and quit. I'm like, yep. So, because it was pretty dramatic, as you can imagine, just meeting with me here, right?
Oh,
So I'm
I'm
like,
sure.
I'm out of here. So now I'm just doing my company, H2M Strategy, just really helping. putting founders together to do their ideas. And then really where I've found really a niche, having gone to JPM this year, is there's all these investors out here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of money that want to connect with good people. So
Yeah.
again, being that catalyst, like I like to think I'm that catalyst, like you said, catalytic converter, or
Mm-hmm.
putting people together, is finding those investors and putting them with good people, but good investors too, right? Because
Yeah.
doctors, healthcare people are very cautious. Like I said, people don't like to be sold to.
Mm-mm.
So, I was talking to a doctor earlier and he goes, Bob, I got contacted by, this investment firm and they're interested in partnering with me with my thing. And he goes, I don't know. It just something about them. They seem slick. I go,
Oh.
you know what? I go, you got to go with your gut. If they feel
Mm-hmm.
slick, because at the end of the day, this is a partnership.
Yeah.
So there are people out there that you're not going to feel that way with.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the right people.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the other thing though too. You have to, when you're dealing with the investment people and you're putting them in front of the doctor, you're like, look, this is a doctor. We need
Mm-hmm.
to like talk about your kids. Don't talk about even the business at all. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't sell. And that's why I've always been successful working with doctors, because I don't sell. I'm creating a relationship.
Well,
You
you're
know,
providing you're in service to them. And the thing is, doctors are in service to clients. There's a
yes.
higher level, and you're absolutely right. The part that I love that you said is listen to your gut. I don't know how many times, because I'm in the room with leaders in healthcare. I've been supporting leaders in healthcare since 1998, as well as other leaders. And that's one of the things is people act like that's not something to value or to listen to. And part of the coaching is listen, what is your gut telling you? Well,
Yeah.
Michelle's not really sure, or I talked to so and so and they had a different perspective. Let's go unpack that, right?
Yep.
Because the gut is the warning sign. So if you can clear the noise out and you're listening to that, it is about a connection that you're making with another human. And you're
Yep.
absolutely right, Rob, to advise them to say, when you're going into a partnership, it is a marriage.
Exactly.
So, you're going to be hanging out with this person. You're going to be making business decisions with them. Do you feel aligned to them? Do you feel that connection? If the answer is no, walk away. There's someone else out there for you.
Well, that's exactly right. And so that's where, I'm looking to help, founders to do that. And, there's a lot of great, I've been fortunate. I mean, the investment firms that I've worked with have just been amazing. And, people have this misperception that investment bankers or PE or venture funds or all these people care about is money. No, they actually don't. They care about doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
They care about making a consistent return, because these are funds that
Yeah.
we all have mutual funds, all of our retirement plans. So they've actually talked us out of more deals because they're very conservative. They just want a consistent return. And again, if a doctor ends up that they've invested in on the front news for doing things, inappropriate procedures or
Yeah.
doing things bad, that's going to ruin them more than a hospital. If a hospital does something wrong, they'll be like, oh, it was somebody in the hospital that did something they shouldn't have, right? And they can keep, it's not big news. But if one of these firms, it's going to sink their fund. So they're
Mm-hmm.
going to want to make sure that the doctors are doing good medicine, that you're giving good patient care, and you're doing all those things. So, that's the other thing. I'm out there kind of getting that message across, because it's not really out there. I
Right.
actually had to once. There was the New England Journal of Medicine did a story about how VC or private equity healthcare is ruining healthcare in America. And they're saying, and I'm like, I worked for two of the biggest not-for-profit healthcare systems in the country, and I can
Yeah.
tell you, the physician practices that they bought compared to the practices that the VC companies run. I go, there's not a lot of difference, and probably even better run at the PE group. And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just that misperception that's out there, that just because you're at a hospital, you're doing things for mission, vision driven. But a lot of these not-for-profit healthcare systems make more money than private companies. They're
Well,
billion dollar companies.
it's not that they're not making money, right? And that's the
Right.
thing is that people have this misconception that nonprofit, not-for-profit status 501c3s they can't make money. And it's like,
Right.
okay, stop. The
Right.
difference is they're paying dividends into the community or reinvesting in to be able to benefit the community, but versus paying dividends out to
Right.
shareholders
Right.
or whatever else. And I said, but you have to make money. What are you,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
nuts?
Hey, no, no, no. My Dr. Lackab always says, no margin, no mission.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. There was
So
it was so funny because I was in finance in healthcare. That's where I started out as an analyst and then a regional accounting manager and finance director. And I remember it was Trader Joe's one time. I'm walking up and this guy's got this petition that people sign and I'm like, what's going on? He goes, we want to limit the profit margin of healthcare to like 25%. I just started laughing. And I'm like, it would be great if it could get that high. I'm like, but you don't understand. And with the payer mix changes and everything else, I mean, it's not there the way it used to be there. And payer mix shifting to where what I'm saying is more government and more Medicare payers, hospitals for the most part lose money to where it costs more
sure.
to provide care to that population than what they get reimbursed. And then the margins are shrinking with the commercial payers. And people
Yeah.
just don't understand that.
Well, hence the whole problem with Prince George's Hospital Center and why we had to, where we're going through our problems exactly because of that issue, and we had to be subsidized by the state and the county.
Yes.
So it's
People
just
don't
it's
understand. So what are you when you talk about so you made a major shift in October and I didn't realize that. That's pretty
yep,
significant. Remember with me when I left Sutter Health and that was in February 21. It's like I told my daughter when I left, I'm like, I don't have a plan B.
yeah,
So to your point, it's like I'm going to walk out and I'm going to bet on me, which is scary. And the other part is, how do you find people or how do people find you
yep,
when you do that? Because you're known within this, I'm going to say ecosystem of where you
yep,
work. I was
yeah,
known within Sutter Health for resources and people tapping me, but then you go out to the broader world and it's like, how do people find you? How do people
yeah.
find you?
Well, that's the great thing about LinkedIn, you know, and that's what doing these kind of shows. But it's getting back to my philosophy of the road less traveled. I felt very comfortable, even though it was scary. I mean, being somewhere for 20 years, and again, I never would have thought I would have been for one company or 20 years
Yeah,
before that. It was that, but the great thing is being with the company from 0 to 115. I was always doing something different. So I did have a different job every 3 years, right?
yeah,
So that was the great thing. And again, just such a blessed experience. I learned so much, made so many mistakes. Remember, you learn more
yeah.
from your mistakes. It's like,
It's
oh my
true.
God. If I look back, I'm just so embarrassed in what the leader I was back then, you know. But anyway, that's another story. So, but LinkedIn, right? So you just get out there, you go, and then you have to grow professionally always anyway. So this kind of is
Yeah.
like, all right, AI is the thing, I need to do that. And then I joined, this great group, which we both know, the Common Grounds
Common
community.
grounds.
You find when you leave, and especially if you're leaving for a health issue having to do with your parents, there's so many leaders in healthcare who have left because of that issue. So I was just
Yeah.
on another, community of 7 meeting earlier today. So, they do great workshops. So I did that. I went to the JP Morgan event. Oh my God. That was like put my brain on steroids. I can't believe I had never been there before.
JP Morgan event. So say
Yeah,
more
so
about that.
the JP Morgan, JP Morgan is a big investment bank, right? So
Yeah.
they have a big health event, a health founders event every January in San Francisco, where it's
Oh,
like all these innovators in healthcare and funders. So it's health sciences, all these innovators
wow.
and all the money. So they come together and put up this huge, and they have like the streets are blocked off. You can't even get into the hotel because these are like billionaires
Yeah.
making, the biggest health decisions in the world. You know how the health robots are going to be doctors, that
Oh, yeah.
those kind of things, and so I went there for the first time, and they have this every year, and it was like those were my people. Like it was all these brilliant minds that are just thinking about and then all the money people who are just willing to invest in these
Yeah.
folks. And like I said, it's just like, I was so, it was just like I said, it's like my brain on steroids. I'm like, oh my gosh, this whole other world that I kind of knew was there, but never really looked behind the curtain.
Yeah.
And that's where it dawned on me. I'm like, all right, I can put these people, because I met so many founders who just didn't know how to put their story together that investors would know how to hear.
Exactly.
So, and you have to find the right level of fund to get to these
Mm-hmm.
people. So, it kind of let me find out. You exactly asked where my place is in this new
Yeah.
ecosystem, because I was so laser focused in my little world.
Yeah.
But I always was a good learner. So I was very much, paying attention to the investment side. Was fortunate to work under the CFO. So I worked a lot with KPMG and,
Mm-hmm.
and I just love the whole business side of things. Even though I've
Yeah.
kind of been always in medicine, it's just the business side is always, I like that. I like
Yeah.
making numbers. I like making money. I like that we're doing it, but all by doing phenomenal world-class patient care. Because at the core of it, the reason I work into healthcare is because I want to help people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And just to find neat, cool, innovative ways to do it.
So
So
when
that's how I
you
found my people.
So when you,
Getting
yeah,
my
I was going to say when you went to this event, I have this feeling, um, it's like you walk away going, I'm not, I'm, I'm not doing enough, or now I'm supercharged, and now you've got all these ideas and the stuff that you can do. Um, what's different for you now, Rob, out of that event versus going into that event?
Yeah, well, first of all, I had like no plan going into the event. I had no, like, I just went like 2 weeks before. I'm like, I'm going, right? And then using the common ground group, and the people are just making me connections. So after I recovered, because you come back, you're just wiped. Like I was
How
just
many days was
mentally.
it?
So it was probably like 4 or 5 days. It was just, but it was a
Okay.
whirlwind. It was just
Yeah.
like nonstop. Like, they had runs. I'm not wearing the shirt, but 5 a.m. the type A people are out there running. And I just think it's a fun run. So I'm like, they're like, no, these are type A people. They thought it was like the Boston Marathon. I'm like, I got a bad knee. And I'm like,
Like, oh, we're
I'm like,
running.
you know what? I'm like, I forgot these are type A
Yeah.
CEOs. And I'm like, they're all running like 6-minute miles. And I'm like, all
Are you
right,
doing a fast walk?
yes, exactly. Because I got a
Okay.
bad knee. So I'm doing the fast walk,
Yeah.
but I don't
Yeah.
care. Like somebody's got to be last. I'm
You're
not
out
trying
there,
to,
but you're out
yeah,
there.
hey, I'm there. But it was just great. But yeah, you get back and you're like, all right, now how do I operation, like, how do I put this in? So after I digested it, I really started thinking about, all right, how do I put my value proposition together to work with physicians to kind of grow things. And really what I'm interested in is like, again, I'm not interested in being a consultant. I'm
Hmm.
not interested in being an employee. I want to be, and I guess like I want to be a strategic growth partner, right? Where
Yeah,
I
that's
want
what
to
it sounds
be,
like, partner.
yeah. So that's what it is. I just want to, and the way we structure our engagement is just based on, hey, a little bit, but as we grow, let's figure out how to get money together and we all do well, right?
Hmm.
But I don't want to get anything from you until I prove that, I have value and I can add value to you. And you're making more than you would have if I wasn't in the picture.
Bingo.
So
It's
that's
almost
kind of,
like a share of something, profit, share
yeah.
of revenue. It's
So
like,
really, it's
yeah,
usually like, a retainer, profit sharing, and equity. Those are
yeah,
usually the three
yeah.
components. Um, but really, the fun thing for me is when I came back is all right. I can really figure out how to leverage, my personality, my my expertise, to work with really good people who are, service, service oriented, or they're the service leaders, right? Working
Hmm.
with a service leader to find the funds. Because I always
Hmm.
found another one of my superpowers is, usually the reason for not getting something done, the first reason someone will tell you when they don't want to do something is what, Michelle? Tell me.
They don't have time.
No, that's, well, that's all right. The second thing, we don't have money for that. If you're in a
Oh,
hospital,
okay,
right?
yeah. Well, I'm thinking I don't know how, I don't have time and money. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're in a hospital and you say, hey, I have this brilliant idea and
Oh,
I want to do this
it's
idea.
usually money because someone else has to approve it.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we don't have money for that. So then what I would do is I'm like, all right, well, we can get a grant and get this. So I bring back, I go, look, oh, remember this great idea? You guys all said, but you said, now, well, I got you the money. And they go, yeah, but we really don't want to do it. I'm like, okay,
Bingo.
so, but they'll
Bingo.
use money, right?
Well,
So,
that's the thing that will back people off, and then people won't bother them about it. Yeah. So how do
yeah.
you
So
get
challenge.
deeper to find out if that's really the thing?
Well, usually, if you're working with founders, though, money's not. Again, they're
No.
really actually looking for money. So that's what I said. But I cut my skill set on taking that challenge. So again, money's always there, or any obstacle. There's always a solution for, right?
Yeah.
Wherever there's an obstacle, if you want it bad enough, let's just get it done.
Yeah.
So again, Dr. Lackapan and I, boom, small steps at a brisk pace, and that's what
Oh, it's like
just
your 5 a.m. run. Small
yeah.
steps at a brisk pace.
Well, we're not too brisk, but I wish it was brisker. But yeah, exactly. It was definitely small steps. But so that's really the money's there, and just really putting those people together. And again, finding the right level of people. And then we touched on it. It's finding the person that the gut of the founders,
Hmm.
like, you know what? They're not going to worry that these people are going to push me in an because that's where every founder is this is my baby. I don't want to be pushed. I have a vision. I don't want to be
Yeah.
pushed outside, outside of
Well,
it.
and
And then
the other thing that comes to mind for me too, Rob, is control. At some level, what they don't want to do, and I think about this, where I've heard stories of singers that sign on with record companies that all of a sudden the stuff that means to them, they lose them in the process. And it's the same
yep.
thing with people. You're absolutely right. It's like, this is my baby, and I don't want to lose control of raising my baby.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing with doctors though, too, that where it's or founders sometimes they think no one else can be at the level of excellence that they're at. And you have to let them know that, especially these founders, right? So let's look at it. I've been talking a lot about from the investor sides, but the founder sides too. You want to deliver someone to them who is going to be able to work with people that
Hmm.
will give up some control. And so you have to find the founders that are, because you can't force that. They have to have it in their mind that they're at a place where they will work with somebody that they trust. And the key is, if you trust people and your gut's not up, then you will give up control. It's when you don't trust people,
Hmm.
again, if you talk to marriage, right, you're not going to give up that level of
Yeah,
control.
and um, and I have to imagine that this is part of your role in that too, because when I think about people, they may be ready for it. They also may not be aware of the things that are getting in the way of it playing out. And
Mm-hmm.
so for your role, it's like you're the matchmaker, right? And the conduit to this stuff happening. If you pull together, here's VC, here's the money, here's the founder, you're going to be a translator at some points, right? To say, okay, this is what they're really saying. Here are the concerns that are going on? Because sometimes they can't hear each other at that level because they've got their own narrative going that blocks the real meaning of what's being said. And then you have to be able to coach people
Yeah, of
to
course.
be open. And so that facilitation, that coaching piece of it. So I'm that when I hear you talking, I hear that that's part of your role of helping people navigate through bringing
Oh yeah.
to reality.
Yeah, I mean it's those translation services, right?
Yeah.
It's the way
Yes.
that you put it. And it's but it's fun. I mean, that's what I just love it because at the end of the day, if you know that both parties are really good people,
Hmm.
then you get excited because if you know, and again, if you put them together, then the success is exponential. It's not a linear thing, it's an exponential thing. And that's what I love about it is there are so many good people that really want to help humanity by giving the funding the right projects, right?
Hmm.
So I always say is let's get all the great people together and do great things, right? That's what this whole thing is, right? I think what's the name of your community again?
Leadership
Oh yeah.
sound bites.
Yeah,
Leadership
but it's a
sound
better,
bites.
it's the better possibilities and
Yeah. Well,
all.
Better Possibilities, my company. Yes.
Yeah. So
And
it's
yeah,
it's all those things of let's get the
yeah,
good people together, common
yeah,
grounds, and let's just change the world, right? I mean,
yeah.
all these people who have a lot of money, they have these goals that they want to make the world a better place. They're not just, they didn't get rich because their goal was to become rich.
Yeah.
These people got money because they, their minds are in a way that they want to embed, they want to make things better.
They want to make a difference.
Yeah, they want to make a
They want to
difference.
make a difference. Yeah. And it's one of those things like culture too, Rob. It's like people go, I want to change the culture. It's like, okay, you can change it and it could be worse or it could be better.
Right.
And I want to
Yeah.
make a difference. You can make a difference to where it's worse or it's better. And I think part of it is how do we get connected to people that understand what better looks like and how to actually make that happen? Because there's a lot of well-intentioned people in this world,
Oh
but
yeah.
but they don't know how to roll out or come to realization the impact that they want to make.
Well, that sounds like every superhero movie ever made,
There
Michelle.
you go.
I mean, that's
See, I
Marvel and
got it from
DC.
somewhere. I wasn't sure
Marvel and
where it came
DC. I
from.
mean, that's why, I've entertained. It's funny. I'm not wearing it today, but I have with this. I'm wearing half the time my LexCorp,
Oh, there you
my
go.
Lex
Okay.
Luthor thing, a shirt, because again, they're trying to empower the humans by using technology and,
We're in that. We're smack dab in
enhancing.
the middle of
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, is
Um,
it going to be used for, are you going to be a hero or a villain, right? And
yeah.
all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
TBD.
It's all about choices. It's all about choices. Um, I could go, my brain is on several different directions with you. I do want to know what 1 to 2 things you want people to walk away with. Um, that being said, I'm also curious in that thing, what advice would you give to yourself, or what nugget or insight can you share with people that you have now that maybe you didn't have before about pick your frickin' topic?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I think the first thing is, again, belief and effort, right? Believe in yourself.
Mm,
Believe in your capabilities. Believe that you're awesome. Because in life, people are always out there beating you down.
mm.
They're telling you can't do this, you can't do that, you have to fall in line, you have to listen, you have, like, I sit in these meetings and everyone's so serious. I'm like, come on, we're just all people. We're, it's not life, in the operating room it's life and death, but when you're in the boardroom or this and that, we're all just people.
Yeah.
So, be authentic, believe in yourself, and then put in the effort. That's the great thing
Mhm.
about America. Anywhere you put in the effort, things generally are going to work out for you. So
Mhm.
belief and effort. Um, the other thing is, you know, I, I've got a pretty big personality. So what I would tell myself is, you got to tone it down sometimes, because I can be a lot. So I just got to remember that just because my brain works very quickly, everyone else's doesn't. And just
Mhm.
because I fall into the same thing these founders do, is I can already see the end line. So you just have to, you know, take a breath. Don't overwhelm the room. Let
Mhm.
everybody get there, because they're not going to get there as quickly as me usually. So that's what
Mhm.
I would I even have to tell myself now, like when I'm talking to you, like, and I didn't do it, speak slowly. Don't say, those kind of things, because it gets in the way of the good things that you want to try to accomplish. And like I said,
Mhm.
I'm far from perfect, and I'm still trying. Every day is a learning day.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so that's what I continually tell myself is, and then just, again, just, this is the challenge I give to everybody. I dare you to do this next time you're walking down the street. Say good morning or hello to every single person you pass. Every single person. You'll be thinking you're either crazy or you're running for mayor.
Yeah. Well, you kind of the thing that I'll say is even making eye contact, smiling at people. I mean, it sends so much positive energy to them. I remember a different animal, but similar animal. When I worked at Sutter Health, there was this long hallway that from our offices that you go down, the only place at the end of the hallway is the bathroom. So everyone knew where everyone was going, right? It was this long, awkward hallway as you're,
Oh, I
walking
love it.
toward, yeah, walking towards someone. And Dave Rigby, a guy that I work with, super cool dude. So Rigby, if you're listening, hi. He would see me in the hallway. We'd approach and stuff, and he goes, "How you doing?" I said, "Good." And he would look at me and go, "Why not great?"
There
I
you go.
still have if ever I start to say good come out of my mouth, I hear Rigby. Why not great?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it is a great challenge for people, Rob, that if
Sure.
say hello to people, make contact, because a lot of times we're so insulated into our little bubbles that we can almost tell ourselves we're invisible or we don't matter. And
Yeah.
when we reach out to someone else and smile or say, have a good day, yeah, they may think you're running for mayor or you want something. But the other thing is, they were seen. You let them know, I see you.
Mhm.
And that's huge. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. So what one other question? So now I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
So you've kind of done my journey earlier. You left somewhere and then you kind of that. So
I did.
what kind of great advice can you give me? Like
Um,
as I continue this journey this year.
well, and I think I don't know that you need great advice. What I
We
would
all need
say
great
is
advice.
you have such a positive energy. I mean, just the likability factor of Rob is super high, right? It's like I think about it, I'm like, I was looking forward when I saw it on my calendar. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in the room with Rob. I mean, that it felt good. I was legitimately excited. And I think part of it is don't lose that, don't tone that down. So,
Yeah.
as much as you're telling yourself, sit quiet, do all this stuff, realize that you are where you are today because you brought that with you.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And it's funny because I sent that social influencing post out to people. I said, "Oh, here's Bobby being Bobby." You know, like yeah, my friends are not surprised. They're like, "Yep, that's him."
But that's what has people remember you.
Yeah.
So as much as you may not air quote fit in with the boardroom or the buttoned up or the whatever, that's what makes you stand out.
Yeah.
So as long as we're
I
well
appreciate that.
intentioned, well, it's true. As long as we're well intentioned and we show up, I say stuff that people are like, "Ooh, I can't believe she said that." And I
Right.
will continue to do that because I'm well intentioned. I never
Yeah.
intend to hurt anybody. I want people to have positive experiences wherever they're at. And I will say bold things at times that other
Mhm.
people go, "Ooh," but it's not coming from a bad place. So to
Yeah.
your point
Yeah.
earlier, keep being you. That's what got you here.
Yeah.
So
No,
yeah.
I appreciate that. And again, I appreciate this invitation to speak with you. And like I said, for folks that are watching, I mean, the Common Grounds community where we met, I mean, I would, highly encourage that to anybody. It's really, like I said, how the JPM was got my brains on
Yeah.
steroids. So does this community. I mean, it's just every week talking to folks here, it just stimulates you and gets you
Yeah.
excited to do good things with good people like you.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Shout out to Ansel Lee who started it.
That's
And
right.
so and Michael Stinnett, I think he may have been part of one of the founders too, the Unstuck Coach, who's another cool human. There's a lot of them. I could probably go on and on and on.
Oh,
And I will do a better job of staying connected to the community. The pop-up messages in LinkedIn happen all the time, which is cool.
yeah,
It's a good reminder that conversations are still happening, connections are still happening. So thank you.
yeah,
Um, until next time, this is Leadership Soundbites with Rob and Michele. Please like, share, subscribe, and thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Have a freaking awesome day. Thank you.
thanks, Michele. Take care.
Thank you, Rob.
Stories yet untold.